tell you a story about when I was a kid. This story might include a squid, 'cause things were different when I was a kid. Sharks came with lids, the outstanding bit. When I was a kid, the things you forbid were the things that I did when I was a kid.
I was in the 3rd grade when I first met Bigfoot. He was a really bad influence. I remember I used to be in class studying really hard about math or whatevs, and Bigfoot would show up tapping on the glass to get my attention. I'd look over and he'd be holding a bag of weed and a 6-pack of beer and just grinning like crazy. I'd be like, no! And then he'd show me the bitches he had, and I'm like, fuck. He knew I had a weakness for bitches. I'd raise my hand and be like, Sister Josephine, I need to go to the bathroom. And she'd go, Justin, you've already gone to the bathroom 3 times this morning. And I'm like, I know, but this time Bigfoot has pot and beer and bitches. So then she sends me to the principal's office, which is totally cool because now I didn't have to keep up with that whole bathroom lie, and I just ducked out the side door to go hang out with Bigfoot. Bigfoot would all drink some beers and then smoke some pot and then drive us around the parking lot. And sometimes he would go to McDonald's and totally order wacky shit that wasn't even on the menu, like shrimp scampi. And I'd be like, Bigfoot, you so crazy. And sometimes he would take us to this poker place. At least I thought it was like poker, because he was always talking about who was dealing. Sometimes he'd go visit this dealer, Tricky Dick Rick Rickersticks, and play a game called 8 Balls. Other times he'd go over to this other dealer, and his name was Parole Officer. And sometimes before he'd go there, he would drink bleach. One day he was visiting Tricky Dick Rick Rickersticks, and they had a fight over a game of 8 Ball. I guess they were gambling or something, and Tricky Dick Rick Rickersticks pulls out a knife and was going to stab Bigfoot. Well, Bigfoot pulls out a gun and shot Rickersticks right in the groin, and he falls to the ground. And the next thing you know, the police show up, and they surround the both of them, and we're like, get down on the ground! Get down on the fucking ground! Well, Bigfoot gets down on the ground, and they just shoot him anyway. So I run over to him, and he's like, I'm holding him to my bosom, and he looks at me and he says, Justin, is that you? It's so dark. And I'm like, yes, Bigfoot, it's me. I'm right here. And he goes, it's so dark, Justin. Dark like the deepest cave. Dark like the inside of a camel. And I said, I know, Bigfoot, I know. Don't talk. You're going to be okay. And Bigfoot, he knew he was dying. He said, Justin, I want you to know that of all the people I met in my life, I always thought of you as my attorney. And then he died. So I cried, and and then I looked at the police, and I was like, you wanted to kill an animal? Well, maybe you should look at yourselves, because you are the animals. Bigfoot brought us magic and love, and all he wanted to do was sneak me out of the 3rd grade and get me drunk and high, and fuck those bitches over there. And you killed him. You killed him! And then the cops all felt bad, and each one stood there, and they dropped their gun to the ground. They turned and walked home, giving up their life of murder, and each one pursued a career as an investment banker at AIG. But Bigfoot haunted them, giving them very little sleep, and eventually this caused the mortgage crisis, because Bigfoot's ghost would sneak into their offices at night and adjust the APR on swing loans and recalculate 50-year mortgages at 30 years. And he would reinvest money in high-risk derivative bonds, and that's like a total crapshoot sometimes. It seems as though the shoe is on the other Bigfoot.